Let's say you have started handling Google Sheets, which has thousands and rows of data, and you want to format just 20 specific cells that are scattered around. Now, without knowing proper selection technique, this will take you 15 minutes. With what I am about to show you, just 30 seconds. Selecting cells in Google Sheet isn't just clicking around randomly. There is a method that is only used by pros. And after watching this video, you will be using these same techniques without even thinking about it. Hey everyone, this is Ujwal and you're watching episode 4 of Making Google Sheets Stupid Simple. Let's get started. In the last video, we learned how to type stuffs in cells. Today, we'll cover something as basic but super important. How to select those cells. Because you need to select those cells before you can almost do anything on those cells. So let's fire up our good old Google Sheets. But this time there is a difference, we don't have an empty sheet and we are not starting from scratch because I want you to experience real life scenarios on how we work with Google Sheets that have so many rows of data. And this is important for your growth. So let's start with a non-empty sheet this time. And I'm going to show you how cell selection works on this sheet. The easiest thing is selecting just one cell. Just click on it. See that blue box? That means it's selected. That's simple. You can almost click on any cell and that cell gets selected. You already know it, I know. Let's move forward. Often you will want to select a bunch of cells together, called a range. The most common way is to click on the first cell, keep holding the mouse button down and drag over the other cells you want to select. And when you let go, all of these cells are selected. Another way to select the range, especially a big one, is to click on the first cell you want. Okay, let's click on the first cell I want and then hold down the shift key on your keyboard and click the last cell in the corner of the range you want. Let's say I click on this cell. Everything in between gets selected. As simple as that. Now, what if I want to select the entire row or entire column? Here is a quick way of doing that. Using your mouse. Need to select the whole row? Just click on the row number over here on the left and boom, the entire row gets selected. Same for column. Just click on the column letter in the top. You can also click and drag across the number of letters or select multiple rows and columns at once. Like if I click on this and I drag my mouse, I can select multiple columns at once. I click on the row, I have kept my mouse click pressed and I drag so I can click multiple rows together. So don't leave the mouse, otherwise it will show you error. Like for example, if you leave the mouse, if I click on this cell and I again type and then I drag, it is going to drag the position of this row. This is not what we intend. So once you click, then you drag and then you leave. This is important. Okay, same goes for column. Now, how about selecting the whole sheet? Now, you have this whole sheet which has hundreds of rows and you want to perform action on the whole sheet. How are you going to do that? Click this little empty box in the top left corner. The whole sheets get selected. Simple. Let's move forward. Now let me show you the faster way of doing the same thing. I click on the cell and if I want to select the entire column, as you can see, you can just press Ctrl plus spacebar and the entire column will get selected. Now this column selection operates in terms of data edges. Okay, so if there are empty cells in the middle, then it will not select cells beyond those empty cells. So the concept of data edges, I hope it is clear from the last video. If it is not clear, just click on the I button and move to the last part of that video. You will understand what data edges are. So it's simple. Let me show you how the concept of data edges is working when we are using keyboard shortcuts to do our selection in a much faster way. I select this entire row. I press delete button on my keyboard and then I am trying to select this cell and now I want to select the entire column. But when I type Ctrl plus spacebar, as you saw, there is an empty row here. Okay, that creates data edges. So the column was only selected till the data edge. But what if I press Ctrl plus spacebar again? Now this time the entire column is selected no matter how many data edges are present in that column. So are you clear? Similar concept goes for rows as well. Here is how. Let's say I press on this department column. I press delete on my keyboard. This column is deleted. I click on this cell and now I press Shift plus spacebar to select the row. And now the selection is only till the data edges. Now I again press Shift plus spacebar. It now selects the entire row. You get the idea? The second time it will always select the entire row, and that is how it works. So Shift plus spacebar if you're selecting the row, and Ctrl plus spacebar if you are selecting the column. The similar shortcuts for Mac is displayed on the screen. So let's move forward. Now what if I want to select the entire sheet? The simple keyboard shortcut is Ctrl plus A. It is going to select the entire sheet. Now this concept is also working for data edges. As you can see, we have data edges here, right? As you can see, we have data edges here, and the concept of data edges still valid. Now if in this case we press Ctrl plus A again, now this time it is going to select the entire sheet. Do you get the idea? Let me show you one more interesting thing that only pros know about. I'll select this row, some part of this row, I'll delete this. I'll select some part of this column, I'll delete this. And I'll select this part, I'll delete this. Okay? And now what you see here is something familiar. Don't you see this? It is an island here. I told you about this in the last video, right? So when you have an island and when you click on a cell from that island, and now I press Ctrl A, you see the island got selected. You get the idea, right? If I press Ctrl A again, now this time the entire sheet got selected. Now you understand how the concept of data edges is everywhere. You know, it's in the roots of Google Sheets on how selection works and how everything works in terms of selection, formatting. You will see that in future lessons. And that's the absolute basics of selecting a cell in Google Sheets. Single cell, ranges with drag or shift plus click, whole rows, whole columns, or the entire sheet. By now you also know what data edges are. I hope you're expert in that, and how you can use keyboard shortcuts to actually achieve the same thing in a much faster way. Just practice clicking around and it will become your second nature. In the next video, we'll use these selection skills to start making our text look different with formatting like bold and italic. If this was helpful and you think these tutorials are actually contributing in your Google Sheets journey, hit that like button, and you can also comment down any questions you have. Subscribe to this channel, hit that bell icon so that you always get notified whenever I post a new video. That's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.